Hi guys, Chantal here from Grounded Mind. How are you doing today? This video today is called Distractions, and I've called it this because there are so many things in life that will distract you from healing. And you might think, well, what is that? Well, when you are, first of all, your mind is the biggest thing. Your mind can be a distraction. Overthinking can be a distraction. People can be a distraction. Things can be a distraction. We need to find times where we can work on changing the way how we think about the path we have in front of us. And so, to heal in the mind body way, it does take effort, and it's not a negative effort. It's an effort that is going to change your life positively. It creates a path of thinking differently. And when you approach certain things in your life, certain obstacles in your life, the way you think about it will be different. And so when you go down that route, you won't have, or you may have the sensations, but you'll know how to deal with them. And the things that distract you from that are the negative thoughts, people that are speaking into your ear, saying things that make you feel stressed. And then you need to then think about how do I deal with that person, and how do I actually use the new mindset that I have to be able to handle what they've said and not allow my symptoms to spike or to peak. And so these are distractions. So there's distractions everywhere, and unfortunately sometimes we can't do anything about it, but sometimes we can. Sometimes we can not put ourselves in certain situations that are going to allow us to be distracted. But the beauty of mind body healing is that you can put yourself in those situations if your mindset has changed, if your mindset isn't weak. And so, I mean, there's so many examples that I could use for this, and I think we distract ourselves. So for example, I could be, okay, I'll use yesterday as an example. When I started my first day of university, and sitting in the classroom or in the lecture theatre, and there's loads of people in there. There's like, it's a big room. I'm used to working from home, and so I know that I can distract myself with my thought. I know a distraction can be, Shan, oh my gosh, you're in here. Remember when you used to work at so-and-so company and you was in big rooms, and remember that feeling that you had, and automatically my symptoms can go like this. But because my mindset has changed, I now will sit in that room and I will think to myself, well, actually, no, I sat in that room and I did think to myself, I wonder if, and this is the truth, I wonder if I can actually feel anything, because the way how our symptoms present themselves to us is based on the fear that we have. And so the fear for me is minimal, but I know that I can hone into, for example, not so much the vertigo or the unbalanced feeling, but the tinnitus, because I can listen out for that and I can bring it back up in those situations, and I can just sit there and see, and in my kind of mind, and feel if it's there. It's so silly and it sounds silly, but that's what I do. And then I'll hear it very faintly, and I'll just see if I can follow it around, and then I'll just come back out of it and carry on and listen to what the lecturer is saying. And so it's so bizarre with symptoms as well, because you'll notice as you go through the months and the years that the symptoms become less and less and less and less and less until they're not there, unless you want to try and find them, or unless something, catastrophic, unless something grand has happened, and they do appear. But what I'm trying to say is in those moments when I've kind of lost my train of thought now, in those moments when you are in those rooms or in the areas where you the fears can kind of show, is just to feel it and see what it feels like, and it dissipates. And when your mindset has gone back to a place of, do you know what, I've got this, I'm good, even if the symptoms are there, it's fine. They do go. So that distraction of my mind, of my anxieties or my fears or my thoughts, or your fears and your thoughts that do arise, You have to learn how to look and deal with them differently. Look at the symptom differently. Look at the fear. Always ask yourself, is anything going to happen? What's the worst that can happen to me actually right now? You know, in those situations, this is an example. The worst that can happen to me is that I feel a bit dizzy and I walk out of the room and I go and sit down. You know, the very worst thing that can happen, oh, I can't drive, I'll have to get someone to pick me up. You know, we catastrophize so much, because when I was really ill in 2021, 2022, and when my dad and my brother used to have to pick me up from work so one could drive the car back, you know, I really catastrophized my life. And all what happened is that, okay, I was ill, I went home and I could work from home, didn't lose my job. If anything, it was quite supportive, you know. And so sometimes we've got to think to ourselves, the fears that we have in life, as scary as they can be, they escalate because we start to get anxious and we ruminate on the thought. Sometimes, not sometimes, all the times, when we get that slight bit of fear that we know can escalate, we've got to put it in the fear box. This is just a thought. When you feel a symptom, or if you're in a room, just feel it, smile, just picture your symptom being with you, and take deep breaths, ground yourself and feel the symptom around you, like not in a negative way, but in a kind of happy way, like I know you're there, I'm here, you're with me, I'm in you, you're around me. And the symptoms dissipate because the fear for the symptom isn't there, but the curiousness of the symptom being there is there. And with that, symptoms come because of fear. If you're not fearing it, what can the symptom do? All it can do is do this, because the brain now knows that you are safe. So distractions, I hope this video makes sense. I lost my train of thought halfway through, but what I'm trying to say is that there are things that will distract us. Some things we can kind of, you know, not allow to distract us, and some things when they do, think about where you are, what's happening, the symptom differently, not from a fear angle, but from an acceptance angle. Let me know that this video made sense, and you have a lovely day. Speak to you soon. Bye.